Let me tell you something straight. Everybody loves the idea of becoming a millionaire in 1 year, but almost nobody is willing to do what that actually takes. You want fast wealth. Then you better get comfortable with speed, pressure, and discomfort. Because here's the truth, becoming a millionaire in 1 year is not about luck, it's about leverage and execution. Most people are stuck because they're thinking too small. They're trying to save their way to wealth. That's not how it works. You don't become a millionaire by saving 10 a day. You become a millionaire by figuring out how to make a $10 in a day. And that starts with one thing, skills. If you don't have a skill that the market values, you're not in the game. Learn how to sell, learn how to market, learn how to communicate, learn how to create content. Because attention, listen to me, attention is the game. Right now, there are people with smartphones building million-dollar businesses from their bedrooms. Not because they're smarter than you, but because they're actually doing the work. They're posting content every day. They're testing ideas. They're failing publicly. They're adjusting fast. Meanwhile, most people, they're overthinking. They're waiting. They're scared of looking stupid. Let me tell you something. You're not losing because you're not talented. You're losing because you're not executing. Execution is everything. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, take all the courses, but if you're not taking action every single day, it means nothing. And yeah, let's talk about risk. You want to make $1 million in a year, you're going to have to take risks. Not reckless risks, calculated, aggressive moves. Start a business, launch a service, flip products, build a personal brand, try 10 things, because one of them might hit, and when it hits, you go all in. But here's the part nobody talks about. You need patience at the same time. Because even if you don't hit $1 million in 1 year, the skills, the network, the experience you build, that compounds. That's how real wealth is built. So stop chasing shortcuts. Stop wishing for easy money. Start building something real. Work harder than you think you need to. Move faster than you're comfortable with. And most importantly, stay in the game. Because the people who win, they're not the smartest. They're not the luckiest. They're the ones who don't quit. Speed is everything when you're trying to build wealth fast. But let's get something very clear. Speed without leverage is just burnout. If you're trading your time for money, you're already capped. There are only 24 hours in a day. And no matter how hard you grind, you cannot outwork that limit. That's why leverage is the game changer. Leverage means using systems, people, capital, or content to multiply your output without multiplying your time. Think about it. One person working a job might earn a fixed salary, but someone who builds a business can earn from the efforts of multiple people. Someone who creates content once can have it viewed thousands or even millions of times. Someone who builds a digital product can sell it repeatedly without starting from scratch each time. That's leverage. It allows you to scale beyond your physical limits. If your goal is to move fast financially, you need to stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like an owner. Where can you create something once and benefit from it again and again? Where can you put in effort today that continues to pay you tomorrow? That's the mindset shift that separates slow growth from rapid wealth building. Leverage also means making smart decisions about where you invest your energy. Not all work is equal. Spending hours on low-value tasks keeps you busy but not wealthy. Instead, focus on high-impact activities, building relationships, learning valuable skills, creating assets, and putting yourself in positions where one action can lead to multiple outcomes. Technology has made leverage more accessible than ever. A phone, an internet connection, and the right strategy can put you in front of a global audience. You don't need massive capital to start, but you do need awareness of where leverage exists and the discipline to pursue it consistently. The reality is simple. If you're not using leverage, you're moving slowly, no matter how hard you work. Most people think building wealth quickly is about cutting expenses, skipping coffee, or living extremely frugal, but that mindset will only take you so far. Saving money is important, but it's not the engine of wealth, especially if your goal is to move fast. You can only cut so much, but your income has no ceiling if you approach it the right way. If you're making a limited income, saving 10% or even 50% won't suddenly make you rich in a year. The math just doesn't support it. The real shift happens when you focus on increasing how much money you bring in, not just how much you keep. That means asking better questions. How can I earn more per hour? How can I create multiple income streams? How can I position myself where money flows faster and in larger amounts? This is where most people hesitate, because increasing income requires action, risk, and stepping into discomfort. It might mean learning a new skill, changing industries, starting something on the side, or putting yourself out there in ways that feel unfamiliar. But those moves are exactly what create the potential for rapid growth. High income gives you options. It allows you to invest, to reinvest, to take bigger swings, and to recover faster if something doesn't work. When your focus is purely on saving, you're playing defense. When your focus shifts to earning more, you start playing offense. That doesn't mean you should ignore expenses completely. Being smart with money still matters, but it should support your bigger strategy, not define it. The goal is to create a gap between what you earn and what you spend. And the fastest way to widen that gap is by pushing your income higher. You also need to understand that income growth often comes from value creation. The more value you can provide to others through skills, services, products, or ideas, the more you can charge. And when you learn how to scale that value, your income can grow far beyond what a fixed paycheck could ever offer. The people who build wealth quickly aren't just disciplined savers. They are aggressive earners who constantly look for ways to expand their financial capacity. Skills are the foundation of fast wealth building, whether people like it or not. You can have ambition, motivation, even a strong work ethic. But if you don't have a skill that people are willing to pay for, you're stuck. The marketplace doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards value, and value comes from what you can actually do. If your goal is to make money quickly, you need to focus on acquiring high-income skills, skills that directly connect to revenue. Things like sales, marketing, copywriting, content creation, video editing, coding, and negotiation. These are skills that businesses need right now, and they're willing to pay for them because they drive results. A lot of people waste time chasing vague knowledge instead of specific, monetizable abilities. They consume content, watch tutorials, and feel productive, but never reach the level where they can confidently offer something to the market. Learning is important, but learning without application is just entertainment. The fastest way to build a skill is to combine learning with doing. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start offering your services early, even if you're not perfect. You'll improve faster by working with real clients, facing real challenges, and getting real feedback. That's how you compress time and accelerate growth. Another key factor is depth over distraction. Instead of trying to learn 10 things at once, focus on one skill and go deep. Mastery creates leverage because it allows you to charge more, deliver better results, and stand out in a crowded market. Being average at many things won't move you forward quickly, but being excellent at one thing can change your trajectory. Skills also give you independence. When you know you can create value anywhere, you're no longer dependent on a single job or opportunity. You can adapt, pivot, and find new ways to earn, which is critical when you're trying to move fast. And in today's world, skills compound when combined with visibility. If you can do something valuable and also know how to show it to the world, your opportunities multiply. The people who win are not just skilled, they are skilled and seen. Attention is one of the most undervalued assets when it comes to building wealth quickly, yet it's everywhere. Every day, billions of people are scrolling, watching, liking, sharing, and engaging, and that attention is what drives modern business. If you understand how to capture and direct attention, you position yourself in a place where opportunities naturally start coming to you. In today's world, attention equals visibility, and visibility creates leverage. When people know who you are, what you do, and what you stand for, you're no longer chasing opportunities in the same way. Instead, opportunities begin to find you. Clients reach out, collaborations happen, and doors open that wouldn't even exist if you stayed invisible. Most people underestimate how accessible this is. You don't need a massive budget or a production team to start. A smartphone and consistency are enough. Platforms like social media allow you to distribute your ideas, your skills, and your personality to a global audience without needing permission. That's a level of leverage that didn't exist before. But attention isn't just about posting randomly. It's about understanding what resonates with people. What problems can you solve? What insights can you share? What perspective do you bring that others don't? When your content provides value, whether it educates, entertains, or inspires, people start paying attention. And that attention compounds over time. Consistency is where most people fail. They post for a week, maybe a month, and then stop because they don't see immediate results. But attention is built through repetition. The more you show up, the more chances you create for something to click. One post might reach a handful of people, but another might reach thousands. You don't always know which one will hit, so you keep going. There's also a mindset shift required. You have to be willing to be seen, even when it feels uncomfortable. Fear of judgment holds many people back, but the reality is that being invisible costs you more than criticism ever will. When you combine valuable skills with consistent visibility, you create a powerful loop. People see what you can do, they trust you, and that trust turns into opportunities, income, and growth. Execution is the separating line between people who talk about success and people who actually achieve it. Ideas are everywhere. Everyone has them. Some are good, some are great, but without execution, they mean absolutely nothing. The marketplace doesn't reward ideas, it rewards action and results. A lot of people fall into the trap of overthinking. They want the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions before they start. But perfection doesn't exist, and waiting for it only delays progress. The truth is, clarity comes from doing, not from thinking. You figure things out by taking action, making mistakes, and adjusting along the way. Execution is about speed and consistency. It's not about making one big move and hoping it works. It's about making small moves every single day that compound over time. Sending that email, posting that content, reaching out to that client, testing that idea, these actions might seem small individually, but together they create momentum. There's also a level of accountability involved. When you execute, you expose yourself to real outcomes. You can no longer hide behind what-if scenarios or theoretical success. You either get results or you don't, and that feedback is what helps you improve. Without execution, you stay in a loop of potential without progress. Another key aspect is adaptability. Not everything you try will work, especially if you're moving fast. Some ideas will fail, some strategies won't deliver, and some efforts will feel like a waste. But execution allows you to gather data quickly. You learn what works, what doesn't, and where to focus your energy next. People who win are not necessarily the ones with the best ideas. They are the ones who act the fastest and learn the quickest. They don't get stuck analyzing every detail. They take action, observe the results, and refine their approach continuously. At the end of the day, execution builds confidence. The more you do, the less you fear. Action reduces doubt, and progress creates motivation. Instead of waiting to feel ready, you become ready by moving forward and proving to yourself that you can handle the process. If you want to build wealth quickly, you have to understand the balance between risk and patience, because most people get this completely wrong. They either play it too safe and stay stuck, or they take reckless risks without thinking and lose everything. The real advantage comes from being aggressive in your actions, but patient in your expectations. Taking risks is unavoidable if you want fast results. Staying in your comfort zone, doing what feels secure, and avoiding uncertainty will keep your growth slow. Whether it's starting a business, investing money, learning a new skill, or putting yourself out there publicly, every meaningful step forward involves some level of risk. You have to be willing to step into situations where the outcome isn't guaranteed. But not all risks are equal. Smart risk is calculated. It's based on understanding the downside and being prepared for it. It's about asking yourself what you can afford to lose while still staying in the game. The goal isn't to avoid failure. It's to make sure that failure doesn't take you out completely. That way, you can keep trying, keep learning, and keep improving. At the same time, patience is what keeps you grounded. Even if your goal is to make $1 million in a year, the process doesn't always move as fast as you expect. Results can take time to show up, especially when you're building something from scratch. This is where many people give up too early. They take a few risks, don't see immediate success, and assume it's not working. What they don't realize is that progress is often happening beneath the surface. Skills are improving, networks are growing, opportunities are forming, but these things don't always translate into instant money. Patience allows you to stay committed long enough for those efforts to turn into real outcomes. The combination of risk and patience creates momentum. You move fast, you take action, you put yourself in positions where success is possible, but you also give those efforts time to develop. You don't expect every move to work immediately, but you trust that consistent action will eventually compound. This mindset helps you avoid emotional decisions. Instead of reacting to short-term results, you stay focused on the bigger picture while continuing to push forward aggressively. Becoming a millionaire in 1 year isn't about chasing hype, shortcuts, or luck. It's about understanding how the game actually works and then playing it at a different level than everyone else. You stop thinking like someone who just wants to earn, and you start thinking like someone who wants to scale. You focus on leverage so your effort multiplies. You prioritize increasing income instead of obsessing over small savings. You build real, valuable skills that the market pays for. You capture attention so opportunities come to you instead of you chasing them. You execute relentlessly while others hesitate. And you take smart risks while staying patient enough to let your efforts compound. When all of these come together, something powerful happens. You're no longer relying on one stream, one idea, or one opportunity. You create momentum. You create options. You create growth that feeds itself. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The goal isn't just the million. The real transformation is the person you become in the process, the discipline, the mindset, the awareness, and the ability to create value on demand. Because once you reach that point, making money is no longer the challenge. Repeating it is inevitable.